here to make a new type of news.
New insights, new styles, new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Making news just for you. It's February 8th here in Seoul. I'm Shin-Yun, and this is News Generation, where we make the news at Arirang's very own open studio. Every morning, we'll discuss the top issues and latest current affairs affecting people in their 20s and 30s. Joining me in the studio is Choi Ji-hee.
Good morning.
And Park Ki-hoon.
Happy Hump Day!
Now, both are here to speak on behalf of those in their 20s and 30s. Every day we make a news feed for the new generation, and we're looking at the top trending hashtags on social media over the past 24 hours. So the first hashtag is TikTok. U.S.-China relations have been going downhill ever since Washington shot down a suspected Chinese spy balloon. With that, House lawmakers have decided to strengthen their data privacy and national security against China, mainly by handing in proposals to ban Chinese apps like TikTok. Already, the app has been banned on government devices in the States because officials claimed China was illicitly gathering data and users' private info without permission. The second hashtag is earthquake. Many around the world expressed concerns over the 7.8 magnitude earthquake that hit Turkey and Syria on Monday. Thousands of homes toppled down, more than 7,000 were killed. More than 24 hours after the powerful tremors, survivors were still being pulled out from the rubble. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs have dispatched emergency response teams to help with the disaster. The third hashtag is heat shock. With the drop of COVID-19 figures and the lifting of visas to go to Japan, many in Korea decided to go to this neighboring country from last October. But while enjoying popular attractions like Japan's hot springs, 3 Koreans died from heat shock. They were all seniors, and heat shock occurs when blood pressure drops drastically while body temperatures rise rapidly. It's actually quite common in Japan, where many enjoy hot springs. Every year, around 17,000 people end up in the hospital from this. Now, bringing the discussion here into the studio, problems with the type of content we're going to be looking at a bit deeper into the first hashtag, TikTok. And TikTok has posed a major security and privacy concern not only in America but around the world. Back in 2020, South Korea's telecommunications regulator fined the video sharing platform around $155,000 for mishandling user data. Recently, Indonesia, which takes up the world's second most amount of TikTok users, said it would strengthen regulations against the platform for a different reason. In Indonesia, Nikmis content has been going viral. In English, that means beggar content, and these include videos of people bathing in mud to receive money or gifts from a crowd. Now, people started calling them TikTok beggars, as some online viewers would also send them money. So problems with the type of content people are easily exposed to and privacy concerns are definitely things that need to be tackled. I would like to extend discussions now here to the studio. Ki-hoon, have you ever come across TikTok challenges or trending videos that seemed a bit disturbing?
Not yet, luckily. Perhaps because I don't have TikTok on my phone, just like, President Joe Biden. And I try not to expose myself too much to social media because obviously I'll come across these kind of disturbing contents like the Indonesian burger content. And also I believe that social media possesses so much power to send a message across the globe in just a few seconds, making it very vulnerable. And of course, I think it's easily manipulated. So I think all users should have a higher sense of awareness of what they upload, see, believe in, and of course what they share online.
Right, and Ji-hee, what are your thoughts on TikTok and privacy concerns?
Well, privacy concerns is a common challenge for not just apps like TikTok, but many different companies, tech companies in particular, worldwide. But I've never had this particular TikTok installed in my phone as well, just like Ki-hoon. But then I did think of downloading it before in the past just to see what's trending, because it's good to be up to date with these things because of what I do. And I'm glad that I didn't have it downloaded in my phone. But anyway, privacy is a huge issue, and it's not just with TikTok, but we've also had here in Korea multiple news on user data leakages. And every time I hear about these news, I'm always very worried that my personal information could be misused and it could really damage my life in some way.
Definitely. It's a growing sensitive topic that a lot of the news gen are thinking about, data privacy and whether apps are using them wisely, right? All right, that was our news feed for today. Moving on, News Gen discusses different topics each day. Here's what we have prepared for you today. People have been going to fortune tellers for hundreds of years. But now, they don't have to go too far. They can simply look at their phone. There are more apps showing daily horoscopes and telling what you need to be aware of for the day. Fortune telling has become a growing trend among younger people, helping them find stability and a path for the future amid these rocky economic times. And with these new apps, an age-old practice is making itself relevant for the new generation. Today, News Gen looks at 3 questions. 1. Why are horoscopes or tarot reading becoming popular among the younger generation? 2. How have tarot reading, horoscopes, and fortune tellers accommodated the needs of the younger generation? 3. Why are some young people taking things one step further and learning how to tell fortunes themselves? As we just saw, we're going to be talking about fortune telling, horoscopes, and tarot reading. Now, here at the studio, have you guys ever tried anything like this?
Yes, just a few times, but I haven't paid for one myself. The first time I remember is my parents went to see the famous, well-known fortune teller separately to ask about my future prospects.
I see.
And something that's really interesting, because I still remember it, is that both of them said the same thing about me. They said I was a late bloomer.
Oh.
Yeah, but sadly, I'm still waiting for that moment in my life to blossom. I'm still waiting because it hasn't come yet.
What is that stare, G?
I think I can tell.
Oh, really?
Really, when it...
Can you see it? Can you see
Wait
my
a little
future?
more.
Can I pay you a little more?
Yes.
How
And
long do I have to wait?
1 year.
1 year.
1 year. Okay, that's not too far.
Anyway, the other experience I probably had was probably through horoscopes and zodiac signs that are usually in the back of newspapers and some magazines. And the only time I would look at a newspaper or a magazine would be probably on a flight or at a hairdresser.
Right.
So what I did was just read the lines that related to me, think about it just for a moment, and then the next thing I would just think about what to eat for dinner and, you know, what my schedule will be like later today. So guys, I believe in myself.
Well, Ki-hoon seems to not really use these fortune telling as like the way to pave the future.
Right.
But what about you, Ji-hee?
Well, just like Ki-hoon, I've experienced many of these. Actually, all of them. Tarot reading, fortune telling.
Wow.
I've experienced them before just out of fun and out of curiosity. And actually, last month, I went to visit a fortune teller with a friend.
With a
a
friend?
friend?
Are you
To
sure?
go. Yes, she wanted to go first.
You make that
Blame
very
your
clear.
friend. Blame
Really,
your
really. I
friends.
followed her because she wanted to find out how her relationship with her boyfriend will unfold in the future, and I followed her. But there was this time, a couple of years ago, when it was quite surprising to hear what the fortune teller had to say to me. That time, I also followed a friend. And
Are you sure?
I'm sure. She was really into these things. And we lined up. I'm the lining up girl, remember?
Whew, lining up. Let's not
Yes.
talk about it.
I lined up to wait for this very famous fortune teller who was on TV multiple times too. And I was really surprised because I never told him anything about myself, how I grew up or anything, just the 4 information: my birth year, month, the day, and the time. And then he told me I should have lived abroad for my fortunes to be good, like for me to have good fortune, which is true because I lived in Thailand before. He didn't know that. And he said I would be living by using a foreign language. I'm using English. And he said I will do more broadcasting in the future, which I'm doing right now.
Right.
I was quite surprised. And that's, you're like laughing.
She seems a
And-
little brainwashed from what I see.
It was surprising.
Anyway,
I mean, it doesn't happen often,
Right.
but it was this one experience that was very surprising. And in Korea, they have that 사주.
Right.
It's a little different from the shamanism, the actual fortune telling, because it's based on Oriental philosophy. It looks at the yin yang, 5 different elements, and it considers the 4 different aspects of your destiny. Like I said, your birth date and the time as well. And so it's growing very popular among the youngsters here. And recently, remember Song Joong-ki, the famous actor, he got married again Previously, he was married to the famous actress Song Hye-kyo, and this fortune-telling result of these two couples is trending online just because
wow.
Song Joong-ki got married again. And it said Song Joong-ki is destined to marry twice, and he is to get a divorce in 2019, which is quite surprising.
Which lined up.
Yes, it lined up.
And Chihi, I have to mention, ever since our broadcast last time where we talked about lining up, you seem to do a lot of research when you have a new hobby, right?
Right.
And speaking of research, then can you tell us what's behind the trend of a lot of millennials and Gen Zs going to get their fortune told?
Right, right. So the interest toward fortune telling, it's become like a game. It's a really huge trend among the millennials and Gen Zs here in Korea, especially. And this is well backed up by this investor who invested in this one of the most popular delivery apps here in Korea. So we could tell, at least from the business perspective, that it's really a growing kind of area. It's very popular. And if we take a look at the screen to find out why the millennials go visit the fortune tellers, 54% say that they go out of curiosity and for fun, and 17% go to release stress and concerns, and also 29% go due to the anxiety amid their uncertain future. And they even call fortune telling a K therapy because they provide comfort for the millennials as well.
I see. And Ki-hoon, as you mentioned, you believe in yourself.
I do.
So I think you can speak on behalf of those younger generation who don't go to fortune telling, right?
I mean, like what Jihi researched upon, I do understand why, millennials and Gen Zs kind of like seek fortune telling. They're insecure about their future. I fully understand. But with me, I'm on the minority group who don't really seek fortune telling to hear about my future because, I believe we should have more control of our own lives and take more responsibility in our actions and choices we make on a daily basis as grown-ups. And I think also, I've seen youngsters lining up.
Lining up.
Even couples, right, in front of those famous tarot reading places. And what I heard was like, whatever they were told, they would kind of believe everything they say and relate everything to them as though it really happened from the beginning of their lives. And I was thinking, what if whatever they were told didn't work out?
Right.
Who are they going to blame? Themselves? I don't think so. They'll probably blame the fortune teller. Right. And what's more even paradoxical is that if they seek a more famous, more well-known, more expensive, fortune tellers, just to hear what they want to hear, like the good things, not the bad things. So I think, believe in yourself and not become too influenced by other people's words.
Definitely. And a growing number of millennials and Gen Z have been talking about this. That's why they were looking for more convenient options online. Some are even taking classes online to learn how to do fortune telling themselves. So now we're going to hear from a tarot reader to find out more about these trends. As we mentioned, let's hear from a tarot card reader and the head of the Pagans Associations in Korea. It's Jem Kozak joining us through Skype. Welcome, Jem.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, Jem.
Hi, Jem. Now, Jem,
Hi there.
Could you first explain how long you've been a tarot reader and who your main clients are?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So I've been doing it actually since I was in middle school. That's when the interest started. But then I just studied more and more. And nowadays I'm living in Korea, and there are lots of people living here who love to do fortune telling or tarot, but there's not many English options. So mostly I've been doing kind of same Gen Z, millennials, people who have questions about their future, coming and doing a little bit of fortune telling in English as best as I can anyway.
I see. And any two questions you guys might have?
Right. So, Jem, what do the younger clients ask you usually? What do they usually come for? What are they looking for?
Right. Well, actually, when I do a tarot reading, they don't necessarily have to say the question out loud. I do give them the option to think about the question, shuffle the deck, and then choose the card. Because many people actually come with their friends, so they feel a little bit embarrassed to say what is their concern in front of their friends, like, oh, will I get married? Will I get a job? But I would say the top two questions are, yeah, how does my love life look for the next 2 or 3 years? Will I find somebody? Or definitely career, job, especially for people in their 20s who are applying for jobs. They really, really want to know, okay, am I going to get this job? And the really funny thing is, if they get the answer no, so many people say, well, ask it again, do it again, just in case. Just in case.
But it's not going to change, right?
Right, and that's the very funny thing is, with tarot cards especially, you can ask the same question 5 times, you'll usually get the same answer. Of course, yes, like you guys mentioned, our future is in our hands, but the cards generally give the same answer every time.
All right, Jim. My last question is, why do you think people come to get their fortunes told, and what's the psychology behind younger clients especially?
Right. I think that definitely people feel very insecure about the future. There are lots of things that are in our control, but so many outside factors, right? Things totally changed during COVID, and then people realize, I don't know what could happen in the future, 5 years, 10 years from now. So they like to feel a little sense of stability, I think. I really think it's partially stability, and people do tarot and lots of other kind of fortune telling in order to feel that they know themselves better. Because through tarot, through fortune telling, you can also learn more about yourself. And I think people feel feelings, and these kind of things kind of clarify feelings they have about themselves. So I feel it's about security, stability.
All right. Thank you so much, Jem. It was a pleasure to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Now, if we may bring the discussion very briefly here in the studio, what points fascinated you the most, Chihi?
Well, I thought it was quite funny how people who go to find out what their concerns will be like through these tarot cards, they ask again if they don't hear the answer they want to
Right.
listen to, right? So that kind of tells how these people, they're expecting something, and if they answer, they get the answers that are quite positive, they find relief through it, and that's why Jem said in the end, it's all about security. It's because the youngsters, they feel very insecure about their uncertain future. Things are very competitive. Yes.
And what about you, Ki-hoon?
What really got to me was that we can learn more about ourselves
Right.
through these kind of tarot readings. And I do kind of believe in it, but at the same time, I think it's better to believe in yourself. But for fun, I think these, if they help you with stability and with, your love life and, kind of feeling a little bit more secure about yourself, I think, yeah, it's a great way to, relieve that kind of stress as well.
Exactly. And now we're going to be asking what our viewers thought about this topic, because given that we are a live morning program, we always ask our viewers questions related to our discussion topic in advance, and we use this time to share with you what they had to say. So we asked if they ever tried tarot or any other psychic readings, and if yes, why they tried. Min Margie Yunji Sally said no, and I don't believe it at all. Tears Bell said, I personally don't, but I know a lot of people do. Not exactly tarot card readings, but fairly similar things like astrology. Benny said, I never have done tarot readings yet, but if I do one, they will tell me about my love life and personal life. So I think it was a really good opportunity to hear from what our viewers had to say on this topic. And every day we do upload questions related to our discussion topic for our viewers to join. And if you want to participate, please search Arirang News on YouTube, and the link is right below. Now, we have to wrap up our discussion for today, and very briefly, Ki-hoon, are there any points of concern when it comes to fortune telling?
Yes, as I always say, try to keep everything in moderation. Don't spend too much money on superstition. For example, expectations from fortune telling can grow a lot, but this could lead to a bigger disappointment and in turn, even discourage you.
Right.
So I also think it's not really based on facts as well. So my suggestion is being able to take in others' words a little lightly and not too seriously will help you, enjoy fortune telling a little more.
Right. And Jihi, if we can end on a little brighter note, how can Taro or fortune telling enrich our lives then?
Well, I think it's really become a play for the younger generation, and I'm not telling people to really trust them. And I believe trusting in yourself is the best, but I think it's providing these people with a lot of insecurities because of the current situations, the source of courage and releasing stress. So I think we should really just look at the bright side of these new trends a lot more.
And use it for entertainment,
Yes.
but in moderation. All right, today we talked about fortune telling and Taro here in Korea, and though this has become a growing trend among the younger generation, we aren't saying it's a final resort that you should definitely try out. As we said, moderation is key. Now, we'll be here every day from 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Korea time, bringing you the topics that young people are talking about. Special thanks to Choi Ji-hee
Thank you, Ian.
and Park Ki-hoon.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you all for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. We are News Generation.